Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this live stream, Thursday live stream. We are on episode 23 of the Thursday Chilled live stream. And before I get started, whilst we wait for more people to hop in, I'm just going to share with you a membership video. And after that, we'll get into what we're going to do in this live stream. So, you want to join my membership?
Contract. Sign it.
By joining, you won't only unlock members-only content, you'll also be supporting my channel and the growth of the community. Are you ready to do your part?
I'm doing my part.
For as little as a price of coffee a month.
God damn, Jimmy. This some serious gourmet shit.
You'll be able to access all past live streams and get exclusive members-only content.
Yeah, boy.
That's less than 49p a video.
Shut up and take my money.
So if you're ready, join now and become part of this 3D journey.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.
All right, so you saw there, become a member. You can get all the live stream archive live streams of Mondays and Thursdays. The Monday ones are a tutorial style live stream, so you'll be able to watch along per week and build up a character in that. For my Patreons, they are currently going through, tier 3 are going through a ZBrush tutorial on how to sculpt a Velociraptor from Jurassic Park. And that's a weekly video as well. Each week they get a new section to it. It's kind of like the Dragon Heart tutorial, the dragon that we're doing on Mondays. Also, I have got a 30% off sale going on at the moment on Flip Normals. So from June 1st to 30th on all products, there's 30% off. And basically you put everything in the basket. At the end, you just get 30% taken off directly, automatically. So if you want to buy some models or learn tutorials or get some brushes, then grab it at Flip Normals. The link should be in the description box below. Cool, right. So we are starting a brand new sculpt tonight. We're going to be looking at sculpting Venom, or Tom Hardy's Venom, in my own sort of style. Before we get into that though, I do want to share with you a quick trailer, of something that I've been working on at my actual job, and I just wanted to show you the kind of things that I do, and I'll break down the trailer and show you the sort of things that I've actually worked on for this game. So I'll just share my screen real quick. There we go. And I'll put the volume on. We'll just watch this trailer, and then what I'll do is I'll just break it down and actually tell you how or what I have actually achieved in it. So
I'm ready for whatever. You won't find nobody better. I will bring the storm to you weather. You ready or not? Coming in hot. I am a legend in the making. You're looking into the eyes of greatness. Gotta push through, the world is waiting. I will not lose. I will not lose. I'm a legend and it's something I'm ready to prove. Legends always live forever. Legends always live forever. Step by step, I'm ready to meet my fate. Countdown, don't count me out now. Legends always live. Legends always live forever. Forever.
So that was a trailer that basically the game I've been working on for the last 2 years with End Dreams Elevation. It's a VR style game, so it's a fully immersive VR game. I thought I'd just show you the kind of things that I actually work on in the industry, because a lot of people ask me quite a few times, you know, what do you actually do in the industry? So I thought I'd explain a bit in this trailer now that I can actually show you the things that I've been working on. So if we come over to the beginning here quick. So I'm a character artist, character creature artist. So the majority of the things I actually do, 1 second, let me just mute the sound. I think it's doubling up. So one of the things that I actually do is I sculpt and texture the characters, specifically for this game. If we just scrub along, we are actually a team of 3 artists. It's not just me. So we have 3 character artists working on this game. I was at the very beginning of this game, and then the other 2 artists joined later. So if I just scrub along and see if we can find our first character. So I didn't actually do this character. This is actually done by one of the other artists, but I created the bow that you see there and the gauntlets that you'll see in a bit. Let me just see if I can find a better view. So along with sort of organic sculpting, I also do some hard surface stuff, even though that's a bit hard to imagine because I don't really do much of it. But I do actually do hard surface sculpting. So I did the gauntlets for the hands here, and this enemy unit down here. Whoops. How do you go back on this thing slightly? Okay. So if we just scrub along, I sculpted and modeled and textured that enemy unit there. And I'll just play this real quick. Just turn the sound off. So this little enemy at the top here, I sculpted and textured that. We just, if I can go back a bit, I think it's going too fast. 1 second. Normal speed. Let's crack it down a bit. Well, let's make it faster. Oh, I don't know what I'm doing. Anyway, let's just put that back to normal. Sorry about this. I'm not very professional at all this, but I thought I'd share with you if we could pause it in the right timing. I sculpted this bow that you see here, this arrow notch, and the enemy unit you see down there, and this enemy unit on the left-hand side, I textured that one. And then I sculpted the weapon that the enemy unit uses there. So I've done quite a bit of work in this game, as you could probably tell. But I just wanted to show you this because this is the sort of thing that I'm working on at the moment with the studio End Dreams Elevation. And we're kind of trying to become one of the first major AAA title games for VR, VR companies for games, basically. That bad guy in the background there, I sculpted him as well. Actually, he was one of the first ones I sculpted for this game. You'll probably see him later in the near the end. I think he's in here. Oh, there it is. Just play that. There he is. So I sculpted, textured that character. That was one of the first ones. After that, the game kind of took a little bit of a detour from the art style. So yeah, that's one of the characters that I sculpted and textured. And the game's called Reach, and it should be out exclusive to 2025, so for VR. But as I was mentioning before, the whole idea is that we want to be the first VR AAA game studio, like really focusing on the details and stuff like that. So that's a little bit of what I've done for the last 2 years as my personal job, my actual full-time job. And then I also wanted to show you a quick game trailer for a game that I personally felt was really cool, and I really enjoyed when I watched someone play it as a walkthrough, because I don't get time to play video games that much. But I thought this was really cool, so I thought I'd just share with you this one. You guys might know this one, but I'll just let it play.
Depth,
187 meters,
pressure,
0.4 bar,
reserve oxygen for the diving bell.
both green.
Nach Frekrum
Best if we keep our expectations low, Manny.
I just don't want to leave empty-handed. A decade in salt water has made its mark.
Take it nice and slow. No rush.
The comms are breaking up, Rob. I'm going to detach.
Absolutely not, Manny. We have no idea what's out there. Don't detach yet. This is an evacuation order.
God, how am I going to get out of here?
We never will, Mary.
No! Ah! Rob, there's something in here.
So that is the Still Wakes the Deep, and I think I've mentioned that game a couple of times actually. That is one of my personal favorite games to watch, or to when I get time to, I will play it. But at the moment, I love watching that one, that playthrough of that game, the original one. The story and the look of it is just amazing. It's kind of like The Thing. The film The Thing, John Carpenter's The Thing. So it's got some body horror in it, and it's just basically this guy just wants to survive this impossible odds from what happens on this oil rig that he works on. But the storyline is so simple, and it's all based around an oil rig, and I just thought it's completely different to what has been out there before, and it's very much story linear based, but it's fun, and it's also one of those ones where there's no weapons, and I find those games are really interesting because you have to try and get around without dying, basically, like Alien Isolation. Well, Alien Isolation has weapons, but you don't really get to kill the big alien. But yeah, I thought I'd just show you that. I think that this one, Siren's Rest, is going to be really cool. I think it's out already. Yep, it was out yesterday. So if you haven't played Still Wakes the Deep, I highly recommend that one. And then go and buy the Siren's Rest as well, because I'm pretty sure it's made by the same people, and I'm pretty sure that's going to be an amazing game. It's a DLC, so it's like a downloadable extra, basically. It's not a full game. It's about an hour and 30 minutes from what I saw on the walkthroughs. But it looks really good, and I can't wait to start watching that one and seeing how that goes. Cool. Okay. 1 second. I just want to say hi to everybody in the chat. We are actually going to start doing stuff now that we got through those. So let me just set things up real quick. All right. Can you let me know if you can hear me in the chat? I don't know if my microphone's turned on or all is good. Cool. Let's turn some music on first, because I think it's one of those days. There we go. So we've just finished off the, let me share the screen, that would help. There we are. So we just finished off the Facehugger Alien mini project chilled live stream, and it was asked that I could show you how to do Venom or a Tom Hardy / Venom, where you take like a concept where you take a 3D model, and then you also take a actor's head and you try to mash them together. So you're doing a bit of a mashup of it. So I thought, because I've done Tom Hardy's Venom before, and I quite enjoy sculpting the Venom character, I would do it again. And so what I've done is I've gone online and I've had a look at and sort of picked up a few images of Tom Hardy's face. It's got quite an interesting face, and most of them are from the show Taboo because he looks very, very grim. And I'm you know, the Venom that was in the films, the Tom Hardy, sorry, that was in the films, who played Eddie Brock, was just not. For me, it was not Eddie Brock. Eddie Brock's supposed to be a very angry person, and I think Tom Hardy just brought too much comedy, and Venom was too much comedy. It should have been more of a horror type film, I believe. So I think that's where they went wrong. So I thought, you know, the best way to portray Eddie Brock is to make him look angry in this concept we're going to do. So we're probably going to try and replicate this one on the far left, but I want to do two things with this. I want to have a concept with Tom Hardy's face on Venom, and B, also have a Venom head so that you can have both in the concept. So we're going to sculpt it as a Venom character, but then we are going to add Tom Hardy's head in on an image at the very end, and then just tweak it so it makes it look like Tom Hardy's head's part of the concept, basically. We're kind of, if I just minimize this real quick and bring up the other artists. So what I'm trying to get through to you guys is this this kind of artist's work. His name is Constantine Sekeres. He's a concept artist from America, and he does a lot of film type art concepts. I think I was showing this one the other week, how he'll do all the sort of sculpting of the body and the costume, and then for the head he will just find an image of the actor's head in certain directions or whatever fits into his design, and then he will just photo bash that into the concept, and it will just work really nicely as a concept piece. So we're going to try and do a replica of this type of style, but using Venom rather than this guy. And then obviously at the end, add Tom Hardy's head in there and make it look like it's part of the image. Okay, so I'm just going to move this guy out to the other side here. By the way, if you have any questions you want to ask, it's got nothing to do with Venom or what we're doing tonight, then please go ahead and ask. These sort of Thursday live streams are a bit more chilled than the other one, so let me know if you have any questions. I'm just going to open up another Venom scene and put that over to the side so I can see what I'm doing. Now, it's always good to have a lot of references when you're doing sculpts, as I keep saying every time. I'm going to try to blitz through this quite quickly. I probably won't show a lot of very fine, finicky detail stuff, but hopefully it'll try to mimic the sort of speed that you might need for being a concept artist, but a little slower because I'm live streaming as well. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually use a male body, and if you go to the lightbox, you'll be able to go to projects and open up a male.zpr body, and it's just a basic character or humanoid character, male character. I'm just going to delete the high res. I normally use this because it's quicker to do this rather than to build it from scratch all the time. And you'll probably find that once you're in the industry that you'll actually start doing this as well, because they'll have specific models and pipeline models that fit the pipeline, and you'll have to use those models in your sculpting as a base mesh. So it's good to learn anatomy so that you can actually understand how it works and how the muscles work and all that sort of stuff, but it's not always required to start off at the very beginning, with primitives and stuff like that. It's good if you can do that, but it's not always required all the time. I got a question here from Joseph Bonkowski asking, if you do the full pipeline for a character, what is the best way to present in your portfolio? Okay, well, I would Good question. I would start off with a good key shot, not a key shot, but a key render. So your beauty render of your character in its finery and in its final state. If you can add it into an environment or into a pose, like a dramatic pose that it would be in, that would suit the character's sort of characteristics, that'd be great. And then the next image I put down would be the character in a T pose or A pose, like this character is right here. And then have a character sheet. So you'll have the front, back, sides, and all, you know, those sort of things. And then in full garb, so full texture and everything, but just in an A pose. And the next one would be the high res model. So your ZBrush model with no textures, just a gray model, sort of character sheet on that as well. And then the next one would be UV maps. So take a screen grab of UV maps that you have for your character. So I could see your abilities to UV map and how you pack your UV maps as well. It's very key to being a character artist, is how to pack UVs correctly. So just bear that in mind as well. And then I guess if you have a turntable, put it at the end, or you could put it just below the beauty part of the character. But you don't really need a lot. You just need to show off the best parts, basically. And that's what I would do for a character that I want to put in my portfolio. I forgot to put my banners on. Hold on 1 second, guys. Ticker tape. There we go. And let's just have a look and see if there's any other questions. Abishk saying, yo, sup man, remember me, sorry was busy at work, but keep up the good work, man. Thank you very much. Yeah, of course I remember you, but thank you very much for joining the live stream, and thank you everyone else for joining the live stream. Got Celestials as well saying hello, saying good evening, so good evening to you. Okay, 1 second. Cosmic Legends just asked, has live streaming and creating tutorials been a viable business for you? Is it enough to do it full-time, or best to have a full-time job and do it part-time? It's not been, it's kind of on a sort of graph, like a up and down graph, basically. So each month there might be a better payout than the last month, but I don't think you can do this unless you're very popular, like Raphael Gassetti or some of the other artists that are out there. I can't remember all of them off the top of my head, but if you're that famous, then you could probably get away with not having to have a full-time job as well. But if I didn't have my full-time job, then I wouldn't be able to pay my mortgage, so I have to have a full-time job to pay that, and then anything that I make on the side actually goes back into creating tutorials, updating my software so that I can make more tutorials, models, brushes, and stuff like that. But yeah, it's not a full-time thing. I wish it was, but because there's such a, it's not one of those things that is very what do you call it, popular on social media, because you got some other people who will just, I don't know, that new guy that's online everywhere. He's the guy with the Yeti AI. I don't know if you've seen him. He does like video vlogs, the Yeti vlogs. Apparently I was told that he made $1 million or million, where he's from, $1 million in a week doing those. But that's more social, right? This is a craft that we're doing here, and this is sort of thing that it's going to take time to learn, and it's one of those things that's very specific to the industry as well. Unless I branch into other things, other programs and stuff like that. But I think I would rather be master of one than master of many, not master of many, or however that saying goes. But yeah, it's not enough to do this full time yet. I wish it was, but I don't think it will ever be like that. In fact, the best time that I actually had with this was during lockdown. And it wasn't because I was getting paid a lot, it was because my YouTube membership was, YouTube subscription, subscribers were going up very quickly. But ever since lockdowns ended, the ticker's gone very, very slow. I think people are just going out and doing other things with their lives. It's a bit of a pity because I really wanted to get to 100,000 last year or by the end of this year, but it's just not going to happen, unfortunately. No matter how many videos I put out or whatever. But you know, if you know someone who wants to know or wants to watch some interesting videos like time-lapse videos, or is interested in 3D work but doesn't know where to start or whatever, then you know, point them in this direction of this channel. And you know, I just want to get to 100,000 and then get further, because you know, you get to 100,000, the next 50,000 is going to be easier to manage to get afterwards. It's all you know, that's all it is really. But yeah, it's not a full-time thing at this point. I don't think it will be. This sort of thing would be a full-time thing ever, I don't think. And I just do this because I want to give back, basically. So anyway, let's get into it. So right, let's take a break from the questions. So yeah, I'm using the base mesh here, male base mesh. Normally what I'll do is I will cut off the hands, because I want to preserve the fingers in those positions, and when you do Dynamesh, it'll try to merge them together. So I want to cut the hands off, or separate the hands from the body, and just make sure it's a clean cut. It's clean enough. Come up here, let's split this. Cool, now I can actually do the Dynamesh on the body. I'm not going to worry too much about the feet, because the toes, they'll just merge together anyway, and we can fix them later. So just get Control T, turn the blur off, bump the resolution up a little bit, and turn the floor off as well. Don't need that right now. It's always going to do that with the legs, so if you find that's happening too much, you can just mask those out, and then just split them apart a little bit, or move them apart even, would be fine. Whoops. Just so that there's a gap there before you touch Dynamesh, just so it doesn't try to merge them there. Cool, so I'm just gonna just go ahead and start sculpting this. So I always try to think of the big shapes first. So we know that Venom is quite a big character in the comic books. We just have a look here real quick. He's actually quite big in the actual comic books, but in the film they've actually made him slightly smaller than the comic books version. So I'm thinking maybe we try to mimic it a little bit. I kind of like this one here. I like the way that it's not got so much detail as well, these Venoms from the film. If you actually look at him, apart from the striations on the muscles where he flexes, it's actually a very basic character. It's not really got much going for it, apart from for the face, really. And obviously the stuff that comes off, the black stuff that comes off him. But his actual body is quite basic. And I think if we do the same thing, because it's a concept, it doesn't have to be minutely perfectly detailed, you know, unless you're doing like an armored suit or something. But because this is mostly organic, we can get away with not having so much detail on the body, because we can go through Photoshop and add more detail later. So we'll try to do that. We'll try to keep it loose with this one, really quick and loose. So first thing I want to do is start to block out the overall silhouette of the creature or character. So I would start off by, you know, pulling out the back, the head, the neckline first. Start from the top and work my way down. And we can actually go a little bit crazy with this one. We don't have to keep it, because it's a concept, we don't have to keep it 100% like the comic book version. We can go a little bit crazy. And I think that's what a lot of character artists or concept artists would do. They would try to break the mold, if you know what I mean. If you've ever watched the making of Smaug, they did that quite a bit with Smaug. They tried to step away from a conventional dragon and try to create something that was dragon-like, but not like a typical dragon. So we could kind of do the same thing with the Venom character we have here. These hands we can actually. I'm going to actually expand these up a bit. I want the hands to be. Oops, let me just make sure that that's turned on. Local symmetry is turned on. Just going to expand these up a bit. I want to do a bit more like body horror or like a like a horror version of Venom rather than a the one from the film basically, or the comic books. So as you see here, I'm now using Dam Standard. I'm just going to try to add some shapes. Also use the clay build-up brush. Two of my favorite brushes, by the way, the clay build-up brush and the Dam Standard. It's also good to have references, as I mentioned before, of humanoid anatomy. I have two of them up here, but they're a bit far up and I can't get up and get them. Too lazy to get up and get them. But they're basically they're statue mannequins of anatomy, and you can buy them online on Amazon, quite reasonably priced, to be honest. Okay, let's inflate. I'm gonna try and make his forearms slightly bigger. And I'm going to inflate the lower part of his legs here. And on his feet as well. So the beauty of the concepting side is that you don't have to add every little detail, as I mentioned before. You can kind of get away with a lot more when it comes to concepting. Unless it's a final concept for a film that's been chosen and you have to go in and clean it up and make it look good, then spend a bit more time on it. But if it's something like a quick sculpt, then you don't have to worry too much about perfection with it. And we could do something really cool with this character as well, because we're not going with the traditional sort of human design. We can maybe change it up and make it a little bit more alien, as he is an alien. So just going to block in some of these muscle landmarks real quick. And yes, this is typically how fast I would sculpt one of the time-lapse videos that you might watched on my channel. I typically try to do it quickly at the beginning, and then as I get closer to the end, I'll start to slow down a little bit. And really take my time with it. But this is the fun part. I always find this is massively the fun part of sculpting, is the exploration with shapes and very low topology. I'm gonna cut in some back muscle there. It's actually quite a skill to be able to sculpt your character at this low a resolution and get as much detail into it before you dynamesh again higher resolution and add more geometry. It's really something to try to practice with as well, quite a bit. We're kind of like using like I keep mentioning in all my videos, I use the Dam Standard sort of like a pencil, basically. So I just pencil in some shape or cuts into the model until I'm happy with how it looks. Might just hide the arms real quick and solo it. I just want to make sure that the chest cavity is big enough for this character. I mean, I do want to go slimmer with him, but I don't want him to look a little weird. So I'm just making sure that the chest comes out a significant amount. And then just pushing it in on the sides a bit. Just pull out the legs, and you can see how I sculpt. Right, I'm trying to snap the camera using shift on the keyboard to snap it whilst I'm rotating. It'll snap it to the side, front, and back, and that's how I typically like to sculpt, going from side to side or from side to back to front at this stage, just to make sure that the shapes work together better. Let's have a look at these legs. So we got the knee that will be here, and gonna bring this calf muscles out. Now, the one on the outer side of the leg is typically the one that's higher up, and then it will come down on the inner part of the leg. Bit of anatomy there for you. I am actually trying to still learn the anatomy properly so I can make more videos about anatomy, and that's kind of like the thing that I want to do on the Mondays after we've done the dragon sculpt, basically. So just have a look at what we got here. You can see that this shoulder here is quite flat, so I'm just going to use a move brush and just make sure that that's got a nice head on that shoulder muscle. I think we can pull in the front a bit and just bring the chest in a bit on the front there. So you can see moving around your model, making sure that you're not too close to your model the whole time is really good, and really helps with seeing the bigger picture, basically. We got a question here from Steamwork TC, sorry. Says, so I've been using ZBrush about 20 years now. I just discovered the S pivot button the other day. Amazing. The S pivot. Where is that? I don't know where the S pivot is. Is it? You're gonna have to tell me in the channel. You're gonna have to tell me in the chat. I can't find it. We got one here from Celestial saying, is he going to be asymmetrical? So I like, when it comes to concepts, especially for speed concepts, I like to keep everything symmetrical. And then when it comes to the posing of the character later on, I will try to make some stuff asymmetrical. It's just quicker that way if you're doing concepts. If you're doing a character, because right now I'm working on some side projects where I'm doing light scans, human head scans from 3D Scan or whatever that website is, where you can buy a 3D scan of a head and you can try to match it with a Z-wrap and stuff like that, and that's all asymmetrical, and I think that's really interesting to look at, like those sort of things. But for concepts like this, speed is the key, so you're probably better off just keep everything symmetrical at the beginning, and if it needs to be asymmetrical, like you have an armored shoulder pad or something like that, then add that as asymmetrical. But for this character, we're going to keep it nice and symmetrical for now. When it comes to the detailing, we might just change it up a little bit, so especially around the central line of the character, because the muscles will be overlapping each other or whatever. But I like to keep the face the same on both sides, apart from the teeth, because the teeth will be all jaggedy, and then the central line will be different, and then the rest of the body will kind of be the same. But if you really wanted to do like a lot of detailing of your character and you really want to take your time with it, then by all means go asymmetrical. It's totally up to you. I'm just going to keep it nice and symmetrical for now. Got one here from Steamworks saying, I believe it was in Transform. Okay. Transform. Oh, do you mean the split screen? Because I just found that one out. And that one's really good for transforms, transform menu next to frame, expose, next to frame. Oh, S pivot. Set pivot point. Oh God, what have I done? What have you made me do? Oh, is it just does it just put the pivot point in the center or something? Center pivot or clear pivot point, set pivot point. Oh, I'll have to look into that. I'm not quite sure about that one yet. It's for setting a camera pivot on a mesh center. Use C pivot to clear it. Oh, okay. Oh, okay, yeah. So you set the pivot and then you'll rotate around that point with your camera, basically. Oh, that's pretty cool. Normally, it just does it automatically, right? If you tap on the model anywhere on the model, it'll just pivot in that area. I'm sure. Comics Legends says the other day I saw an AI website that could create a 3D model with a prompt or an image. Crazy times. Yeah, I saw that as well. It's actually an advert on my Instagram. There's an advert for it saying, you know, try it out. And I was just like, I don't really want to. I'm not against AI. I just don't think it's necessary for our for the arts, that sort of stuff, like in our industry and stuff. I know why they want to use it. It's because it's more cost effective, and well, it's not really, because you're using so much power to generate things, but it's, you know, it's all about getting product out as fast as possible. But sometimes it's not always the best thing to just get product out as fast as possible. I'll tell you one example, basically. The Dragon Age Vanguard was one of those ones that looked like they tried to do things very quickly to get it out, right? So if you look at, I can't be 100% sure, but I think they used MetaHuman to create those characters. Now there's a picture online somewhere of a side-by-side of one of these characters, and it's the one with the dragon head, with the dragon horns on the head. And the one that they did to the previous game they did for Dragon Age, that character looked better than the one that they'd created for Dragon Age Vanguard. Let me try and find it. I'll try and find it and show you. Hold on. Dragon Age Vanguard, or Veilguard, sorry, versus Inquest. Sorry, but we have a slow machine today. I hope the stream's going all right though. Try to find the image that I saw of it. Let me just pull this into the side here. So you can see here on the top left-hand side here, you can see how in Inquest they sculpted a lot more detail into the character than they did for the Veilguard, right? That might be a really bad one, but you can see from this one, maybe this one's better one. You can see how they've used MetaHuman a lot for this character, because anything above the eyebrows is fine to have as a unique thing, but anything that touches the face can't really do that, because MetaHuman is set up in a way that you have to have a specific look in that area, and you can't really adjust anything too much. So it's always going to look very human on using the MetaHuman stuff. Whereas if you did it from scratch, like sculpted it by hand, or had an artist do it, then you get something like this, which is a bit more interesting to look at. But that's one example of, you know, speed not always being key in the processes of creating art, basically. I got one here from Christian Isbell saying, question, I have no art experience at all, but want to get into making characters. Do you recommend getting a handle on 2D fundamentals before getting into 3D. Your channel has made me want to be in 3D. Oh, well, I'm glad I've inspired someone else. Yeah, if you're not experienced with art or have no experience with art, technically you don't need to have fundamentals in 2D. I'd never really had fundamentals in 2D. It's just something that I worked with when I was working in 3D. I always loved to draw and stuff, but it was never something that I took professionally. It was more the 3D stuff that I took professionally. So you could start off by doing 3D stuff. It's good to have fundamentals in 2D if you really want to do it, but it's not something that's necessarily needed at the beginning. If you really want to do 3D, I would suggest, you know, going through the processes of sculpting in 3D. I have got a tutorial online that you can buy. It's the troll bust. It's like the bare basics of ZBrush that you can do, and anyone can follow along to it. And there's quite a good reviews for that as well. I would start off by looking at that. Also, think about what you want to do in the industry specifically, because a lot of people want to jump into the industry, but they don't really know what they want to do once they're in the industry. It's all very well saying you want to be a 3D artist or character artist, but if you have no sort of experience in it, it's a lot harder to jump into. Yeah, I would say you don't need 2D fundamentals. It's good to have them. If you can pick up a pencil and draw, brilliant. But you don't need to have it if you want to learn 3D, because 3D, the way that I've learned it with ZBrush is like learning to draw, right? It's just digital 3D basically. So I would jump into 3D if you're hesitant about 2D stuff. Jump into 3D. Relatively easy, the layout of ZBrush once you get started, but it can be quite daunting when you first look at it. I hope that helps. Let's take a pause from the questions real quick. If you have any more questions, please put them in. I will answer them, but I just want to get a little bit more of this work done on this guy real quick. So his stomach's looking a little bit flat, and I think I want a little bit of a podge to protrude out of him here. We're not going to go typical Venom. We're going to go unique. Now let's bring these down. I can't forget what these called. What are these called, guys? If you got anyone knows what these muscles are called, I forgot what they're called. The lats, I believe it is. One of the hardest muscles can't seem to grow myself. Just don't have that V shape. You know? Hardest thing to grow. Just pull these shoulders out a little bit. Right, I think that's a cool looking base for now. Just going to use a clay buildup and just going to try to push in here a little bit. But by the way, I do appreciate you guys, joining this live stream and skipping the ZBrush live stream, the Maxim ZBrush live stream. I do know that it's quite funny. I didn't realize that I was actually going to be sculpting the same nights that ZBrush live streams as well. So they do a Monday and Thursday as well. So it's kind of like a little bit of competition, I believe. Not that it's an actual competition, but for me, it's kind of like a sort of silent competition that I have with them. See if I can get more people viewing this live stream. Here we are. Oh, and for the guy Christian, if you don't have a Wacom tablet or you don't have any technology like tools, I wouldn't recommend buying a Wacom. I would buy something that's like less expensive, especially if you're only dabbling in it and you don't know if you want to commit fully to it or not. You don't really want to waste a lot of money on technology that you probably if you don't go forward with it, you will waste your money basically. So if you want, you can grab a cheap Wacom or cheap pen tablet. Doesn't have to be special. It'll just it'll be easier for you later. Oh, okay. You got a 24 Hewine tablet. My English is shit. Cool. Right. I think that is pretty cool. I like the idea of him having, well, he does have quite big legs, doesn't he, really? Should probably pull these out a little bit to the sides. A bit more chunkier. Now, since we've added these lateral muscles in, it's now looking a little bit too much like your average superhero. You know, it looks too run-of-the-mill. If we maybe pull these back in, we vary this up a little bit. I want to get something that's not typical Venom sort of look. You know? Maybe make him a bit more top heavy than bottom heavy. Slouches, yeah, let's slouch his arms down a bit like that. I'm just gonna chisel away with the trim dynamic onto his arms, onto his chest, sorry. That's better. I think that looks a lot better. Okay, so it's at this point, I'll probably cut the head off as well, because you wouldn't be able to get the detail that we need if we had the whole body and head sort of merged at the same time. So I'm going to split the head from the body, and I'm going to Dynamesh, but I'm going to add geometry to the Dynamesh, and I'm going to turn off the blur as well, because I don't want it to lose, even though it's not a lot of sculpted detail, I don't want it to lose any of this that we have actually created, because it's nice to have, basically. So I just top up the resolution, turn Dynamesh back on, and it's kind of try to keep those forms that you see there. Then we can now go in and start to define these a little bit more. So just, I don't know what I'll do with the chest. Yeah, let's just do a normal chest. That's pretty cool. I'm gonna Dynamesh this one as well, the head. I think what I'll do is I'll leave the head for now, because it's, whoops. It's one of those things that's very complex, and it'll probably need its own live stream to do, basically. So we'll leave it as a pretty blobby sphere for now. Let's check the chat real quick. Got one here from Joseph asking, I was curious and tried a free AI, and my experience was like when somebody asks Photoshop Master to fix a photo, and the result is always the opposite of the request. Yeah, you have to be very specific, I find. I haven't tried it, but I've sort of heard. You have to be very specific about what commands you type into AI to get those really good looking results, basically. I got one here from Viraj saying, hi sir, when we get full video of creature from scratch to final render, so we learn more from you. Your final presentation of every sketch is awesome. I love it. Oh, well, thank you very much. Yeah, I mean, these live streams, we're basically doing just that, really. Thursdays. We've done 2 projects already. We've done the Orc Bust and the Facehugger, and now we're on to this Venom character. So if you haven't become a member yet, you can become a member, and you can rewatch those live streams, and it's kind of like a tutorial, but just a little bit more relaxed. And then on Mondays you got the Dragon Heart, or the Dragon tutorial, which is a full-on tutorial on how to sculpt inside of ZBrush for beginners. So you can kind of learn from those ones as well, those archive ones. Got one here from saying, I have one project which is not able to run in Substance, so doing poly paint will look good in render or it will look plasticky. Poly paint's not really gotten the love the love from a lot of people. I think you can actually do, because I used to sit next to an artist in film, and he would actually paint the base layer of the characters in ZBrush before he took it into Mari, and then that would sort of act as a base texture for the character. And sometimes he would even do the roughness map and the other maps inside of ZBrush and take them into Substance or Mari and just tweak them. So you can do a lot of texturing actually inside of ZBrush. It's just that it's not always promoted that much because it's mostly a sculpting tool. But there are materials. You can come into the material tab up here and you can change them or modify the materials in here to on your material tab. We'll just try and find the skin one. So skin shade is a good one to use. If you come in here, you can change the specular, the diffuse, the ambient, reflectivity, and get it to how you like, and then render it. And if you do it correctly, you can get it to make it look so it's not so plasticky. So I mean, that's one way of doing it as well. But eventually you're gonna have to take everything into Substance anyway, or Mari anyway, and do the fine detailing. So you can get away with, you can actually do quite a bit inside ZBrush in that regards. So Comics Legend says, it's interesting listening to the Maxim live and Shane mentioning that he would teach free online during the live stream, and at the end he would take the video down and then sell it as a course later. Oh. Well, that's kind of like what I've done really. It's free until the next day, the live streams that we do here, until the next day, my next day, sorry. And then I will put it behind a paywall so that if you really want to, follow along or watch it, then the members get that, and it's quite good. That's what, I hope it's good, but that's what I've been doing so far. I'm also doing other tutorials on the side as well for paying customers. Go on here from Christian Bell saying, I see a lot of film references for Venom. Would Todd McFarlane's bulky Venom be a good reference? He seems very top heavy. Yeah. I mean, what I'm doing is I'm just trying to mimic what I've done before in the past, and that's just a couple of renders, my sculpts, some movie sculpts, some Tom Hardy's face. But you can use whatever reference you like. It's down to you how you want to portray your Venom, because Venom has been portrayed differently throughout its time on Earth, basically. So you can really go to town with it. You can go completely away from the comics version, or you can stick to the McFarlane's one if you like. I really like McFarlane's one as well. But for this one, we're trying to keep it more like a film concept, basically. So it's got to fit. Tom Hardy's face has got to fit the body as well, Got one here from Balin Walker saying, hey, cool to catch your stream finally. Oh, well, thank you for joining. Avalich? Avalich. You can do renders turning off spec and getting the materials without spec. And you could do another set. Oh, he's on. Sorry. Another set renders with only spec and composer. Yeah, basically, yeah. Let me just see. Yes, Balin, polypaint is fun, feels better than Substance half the time. It's only because Substance, you have to kind of use layers, but for me, when I'm doing polypaint, I just sort of throw it all on the model and just mix and match until I get exactly how I like it, basically. It's probably not the best way to do it, but it's the kind of way that I do it. Okay, so back to the sculpt. Just gonna, now that I've dynameshed it a little bit, well, with more resolution. I can now come in and start to define it in the next stage of the Dynamesh process. And oh, he's lost. No, you know, I forgot his collarbone. I always do that. I always forget the collarbone for some reason. And then there's a dimple just here where the pectoral muscle is. Now the collarbone's not that thick, really. It's quite thin. There we go. And then we have these muscles here. I can't remember the names of these muscles. I mean, I don't really know the names of the muscles, to be fair. There's so many of them, which is not a bad thing. You don't have to know every single muscle. You have to know the main sort of landscapes of muscle, really. You don't really need to know all of them unless you want to learn it, but I don't really recommend. Well, I recommend it, but it's just going to take a long time. I'm just going to come down the arm here. Okay, so this guy is now looking a little bit too humanoid again. I think what's really not making him look very Venom-y or alien is the arms. I think they need to be slightly bigger. And the hands as well. Yeah, I think that'll work pretty good. Just check the comments real quick. Cool. Damn standard. And gonna start blocking in these leg muscles. Now, I'm not going to be an expert on the leg muscles, but I do know where they kind of sit. And there's that one that the longest muscle. I do remember the longest muscle. You won't ever see it because it's wrapped in so much skin and some fats and fibers. But it comes from here on the hip, and it comes all. I think it goes down and around and down the calf here. It's one of the longest strands of muscles that you have in your body, I believe, and it just does that sort of thing. But yeah, again, I really want to get into the anatomy sculpting with you guys once we finish the dragon. So the sooner we can get that done, the better, really. The dragon. I don't know what to do with this stomach area. Should we do something that's not been done before, maybe? Make it look more alien. Oops. Round it back. Just add some more shapes. Oops. My Wacom screen is squeaking. I haven't dusted it for a while. Do apologize. Oh, and I apologize if you hear the trains going by in the background. I live near a train track. There we are. So there's a forearm muscle that comes down and around to the front. I really want to get these arms looking quite chunky on the forearms here. Grab the move brush. Just gonna move the elbow out a bit. There we are. Break that up there. Come around to the buttocks. Just do a bit of detailing. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's a skin suit, I guess. So probably will see the crease, the crack. So, yeah, this is going well. Hope everyone else's week is going well, by the way. Grab the down standard. Just gonna quickly form some of these heads on the shoulders here. Again, I'm not looking for perfection, as it's going to be a conceptual piece. So you can get away with doing a lot more stuff here than normal. Gotta bring this out the front of it. Let's do some feet stuff. I mean, because it's a concept, we can probably get away with having less detail down here, because the majority of the sort of reveal is going to be at the top here, the beauty shots up here when we're thinking about the concept. So down here we could just kind of make it look like feet, but don't have to go crazy with the detail. Let's make his traps bigger. Let's make it really something completely out of the norm for a kind of Venom character. Let's see how that looks. I mean, that's probably what Venom looks like anyway, doesn't it? I think he's probably the most sculpted character or creature in 3D art. Everybody's done a Venom. If you haven't done a Venom yet, then you can't call yourself an artist. Bad jokes. Cool. Let's just check that back is working all right. Guys, got any questions you want to ask? Please go ahead and ask. Just going to change the music because it's driving me crazy right now. There we are. Is that even playing? Oh, it is. Right. I think we're getting quite good at this. Just gonna pull these legs out a little bit. Got one here from Comics Legends asking, when you worked on your VR game, did you also play the game in VR and make adjustments after seeing the gameplay? Yes. So one of the parts of actually working for a VR company is that I have to wear the headset and do the whole thing, like check all the models inside of VR, making sure they're the right height, the right shapes, the right sort of, because there's more of a, it's kind of like a fish-eyed lens used inside of VR, or depth perception is differently than when you play a video game. Also, when you're in VR, you kind of have to get everything looking and working right. Now that's more the technical side, but you know, like pulling the bowstring and making sure the weapon can be visible from all sides, and you can pick up things in environments and stuff. So there's a lot more fidelity with VR than there is for normal AAA games. The only thing I think is that's lacking for the VR games is not being able to see yourself in third person. Obviously, because it's a VR game, but it's that's one of the things that the only thing that I think is lacking really is the ability to see yourself. But I mean, it's quite an interesting concept. You can get quite nauseous as well, like seasick, because of the VR experience if you're not used to VR. So it takes a while to get used to it. It's quite nerve-wracking when you look over a cliff and you can just see right down into a bottomless abyss, and you're basically you're still sitting in your chair in the office, but it looks like you're looking down into nothingness. It's quite crazy. But I'm here from Balin saying, does Carnage qualify for 3D artist status? Well, I can't say it doesn't, because I've already done Carnage. So yeah, I mean, I think they got it wrong in the film, by the way, Carnage. I think they completely ruined it for Venom 2. He should have been a lot more of a threat, basically. I don't think they did him justice at all. And I'm really, really angry about that, because Carnage is one of those things, it's one of those enemies that is it's like the final boss, you know? And he should have been something that came a lot later. But I think the whole idea of Venom films was just weird because of all the symbiotes that there is, and I know there are a lot of symbiotes out there in the Marvel universe, but for some reason it kind of made it less special, especially the third one. The third one was really like, there was too many of them, and they all were special, and they all did something special. I kind of gave up on it, to be honest. I think if you're going to do Venom, it has to be R-rated horror, sort of Marvel film, like Blade, you know, that sort of thing, where it's not really meant for kids, it's more for adults, sort of thing. Comics Gate says, I agree. I hope that MCU gets to do Venom right. Yeah, I haven't got a lot of hope for the MCU stuff right now, to be fair. I enjoyed the MCU stuff up until Endgame and maybe Spider-Man, but a lot of the rest of it I just haven't really enjoyed that much, to be fair. It's just not for me, basically. they kind of just went a little bit too wacky with some ideas. They should have just kept it really basic, like they did with Iron Man. You know, Iron Man, Thor, Captain America. They started off by introducing them as characters in their own films, and they didn't have multiple superheroes in films. They just had them, and you know, just back to basics. Really, it's pretty shameful. It's a pretty big shame that they don't do that anymore. Well, I think there's a bit of a decline in Marvel films. I think the next thing's now DC, but I mean, how many more times would you have to see Superman reincarnated as a new character or actor? You know, it's kind of like Spider-Man. There's too many of them. Joseph Bunkowski says the disappointment for me was that they teased Toxin at the end of Venom 2, and they just mentioned in the third one he has disappeared. Oh, well, fair enough. Yeah, I've got my gripes about the Toxin. It didn't look like Toxin, and that's another thing I have a big gripe about with these superhero films. I don't think the people who are making them are actually reading the comic books, because some of them don't look like the comic book accurate versions that they should, you know. Toxin did not look like Toxin from the comic book. It just looked like wasn't it just like a blue character? Let me just check quick. Venom Toxin. Yeah, here we go. Share this real quick. So you see, that's the one from the film, right? And it's blue. But Toxin is actually like this. This is Toxin. Toxin is a red and black creature. It's kind of a mix between Carnage and Venom. You know, it's the child of Carnage and Venom. But when they created it for the film, they just made him blue. It doesn't look like Toxin at all. I don't know. I just have to give up, I guess. Unless Studio says everything after Endgame is DLC. Yeah, I can agree with that. Yeah, Joseph Bunkhouse. Yeah, that was not Toxin in the film. Yeah, I don't think it was. I don't. If it doesn't look like the characters from the comic books, it's not the character from the comic book. Like Venom, we've had 3 films of Venom right now, and he hasn't even got the symbol on his chest, you know. And I know it's probably copyright issues with Marvel, whatever, but you know, it's not Venom then, is it? Christian Isabel says Hollywood seems to dislike going hard on source material these days. Yeah, I think they're in an existential sort of crisis, I guess you could call it. They just don't know what they want to do right now. They don't know how to please audiences, I guess you could say. Although they did get the comic, the cartoon Lilo and Stitch character, they did get them right. I think they're coming round to what audiences want now. They sort of heard what the audience are espousing, and I think they're trying to turn ship. So I hope that happens, because I mean, you got all these amazing artworks from all these amazing artists that created these characters, and then you go and you change it just so it doesn't look anything like what the artist envisioned, you know. It's kind of a spit in the face, I'd say, to the original creators of the character. Okay. Oops. Well, by the way, I have I wanted to kind of break up the 2 shows that I do for the live streams, because at the moment they're both just live streams. One of them is Dragon live stream, one of them is ZBrush Thursday, or Thursday live stream. I kind of looked at ZBrush live streams from Maxim, and sometimes they have a title for the live stream they're working on. I was wondering if anybody has a good title they would use for like a show like this. So instead of it just being Thursday live stream, it could be something like, I don't know, ZBrush and Chill Thursdays. And what I want to do is I want to create a new intro for each one so that they're different, so you guys know when. Well, you probably will know because it's on Monday or Thursday, but they'll each have their separate intro and not be so basic. So I was thinking of sort of making, getting my feelers out there from you guys. What would you call a live stream like this, where it's a bit more chilled, it's not so serious, and you just, we're just here to either talk film, games, and do a bit of sculpting work? What would you guys call a show like this? Because I'm trying to wrap my head around it. I just couldn't think of anything. But yeah, if you leave it in the comment section, I'll consider it, and then I'll let you guys know which one I have chose. Or you'll probably just see it when I do the new intro. Cool. Again, not going to worry too much about overly detailing those areas. I don't know what I want to do with this stomach area. I think I like the idea of it from what I did before. Like here, it's kind of there, but it's not really. And this one, yeah, it's a bit more fatty, got a bit more fat on it. But this one down here, you can't even see any of the muscles. I think I like that sort of approach to what we want to try here. So let's see if we can mimic it. It might just be the way he's standing as well. Could be the reason why his midriff looks like that. But we can just use a damn standard, just and a clay brush. Just come in here and see if this will work. Instead of having like a 6-pack. Yeah, so at this point you probably want to break up the symmetry a little bit, so we can kind of make it look like this sort of thing going on in the middle. So it's kind of ununiformed in the middle. Christian Isabel asked, did you work with Damien on Lion King, or were you two in different departments? Yeah, I sat right next to him. He was working on Lion King and I was working on The Predator. I was a texture artist, but he sat right next to me in the studio, which is, yeah, he's a cool guy. Very, very talented. He's the guy who does a lot of the Substance Painter tutorial stuff, or their new versions of Substance Painter. You've probably seen it before. Right. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm also going to try to blend it in the chest area. So instead of having this hard edge where we can see the difference between the pectoral muscles and the body, I might just start to think about how Venom's body is and how it's a bit of a liquid, bit of sort of webby liquid type stuff, and start to incorporate that on the model a little bit. So he wouldn't have such defined chest muscles, so they would probably, let's say they would just blend in around there using the clay brush. So it would be a little less humanoid and a lot more alien. See? Yeah, we could do the same thing up here as well. Just using a damn standard with the Alt button, I'm just pulling up some of that geometry. clay brush. And we can also mimic what we did here on the chest with just around here on the arm here. So normally the shoulder muscle will come through here and be rounded, but what I want to do is I want to attach it here as well. Might not look, we might need to, you know, subdivide or dynamesh again with a higher topology count to get that visual going, but just want to break it up a bit more from what a human would be. You can join the tricep to this muscle here as well. Shoulder, back of the shoulder. And we could also do the same thing for the back. Maybe we want to break up the middle section of the back and then turn off symmetry and just crisscross it coming down so it looks more organic. Just as a what do you call it? Oh, used to have a word for it. A placeholder. Yeah, I guess placeholder works. So then this muscle will come through here and branch off there. Grab it down standard and just emphasize it a little bit, make it look a little less symmetrical. Grab the clay brush, turn on symmetry. Do the same thing for the legs. So just thinking about things now before we go into a higher subdivision level or polygon level. Painting the kneecap. Cool. Let me just hide the arm real quick. Solo it. So you can do a lot of that webbing type stuff under here. Really change it up a bit. Yeah. Make some space here. Cool. That's not too bad. Just gonna change the look of the arm, the stomach real quick. I mean, this is still very much a blocking pass, sort of trying to feel out how the model will look. Yeah, this is why I don't like doing too much asymmetry at this very early stage as well. Because once you commit to how it looks, you got to then go in and asymmetry in those areas every single time if you wanted to sculpt something. So just adds a bit of more work, basically. Christian Isabel says, you can call me Chris. Do you keep up with ZBrush summits? I watched the 2023 one with FFXVR yesterday, and the econ work looks awesome. Yeah, I used to keep up with the summits. It's just so many things that I just can't seem to get time to do these days, with trying to make new tutorials, have a social life, if any, and do those do live streams, and then do the time-lapse videos. It's just not a lot of time in my life to sit back and relax into videos like that. But I have watched some of them before, and if I do find them whilst I'm working on my work stuff, I'll put stuff like that on in the background, but I'm not really paying attention very much to it. I should, but I just seem to not. Pull that back. Let's connect there. Yeah, I think we're going to have quite a organic looking character by the end of this. Like I mentioned before, I don't want to spend too much time being very finicky about things for this character. So I want to get the base mesh down, the base sculpt down, and get it into Photoshop as fast as possible, so I can show you how to do the whole blending. Now, there's two ways you can go about it. If we just have a look here real quick. So the one on the far left there was done using Photoshop and Maya. I used Maya for that one. I set up a scene in Maya with some lights, and I got that sort of render going. You can also just use ZBrush rendering as well to get the same effect. The one down here on the right is done through Keyshot, and I find Keyshot's a lot better to do these sort of things than the other way, because it's just a little faster and you get much better sort of results. Like if you look at the skin, it looks very oily, it looks very wet. It looks a little bit more professional. So I'm kind of thinking maybe we'll go down the Keyshot route for this character, just because it's a little easier. But we can come back to that at some point. Dave Newhouse says, do you not suffer from burnout? Yeah, I suffer from burnout. I normally have Tuesdays to myself, but then again, I'm working on videos or editing videos and stuff. But yeah, I do get burnt out. I just get back up and go to the gym and get back to work afterwards. It's not very good. It's not very very sane to do this sort of thing. But yeah, as Balin says, on that grind, I guess. Thanks, Balin. X the Fun says, I just watched the beginning of the stream. Those games look fun to work on. Do you have any other games in mind that you had a blast working on in the past? I can't remember. So many. I've done so many things. I can't remember the other games. There was a game by Dreams again, because I worked for Dreams before, and it was called Fract. Let me try and find it real quick. Dreams Fract. Alright, I'm gonna share this real quick. Oh. 1 second, guys. Just making sure the sound's off whilst the very annoying advert plays before the trailer. There we are. Right, let me show you. This is the trailer for it. 1 second. I'm gonna just hide this and turn off the music. Bring this in. Turn off the banners. That would help. There we are. Turn on the sound. Jesus, so many things I've got to turn on before I even start. So I'm just going to play this real quick for you guys.
Where the hell am I?
What is this?
You said they were screwing the planet. Whoa!
Holy shit.
Take a breath. You got this.
Watch me
Rosales!
Go, go, go!
It's now or never!
What is that?
All right. So that was a game called Fract, and that was also by Dreams. Basically, I did all the most of the character work and a lot of the texturing, and I think the style is what I liked about that game. It was 3D models, but with a 2D style, like League of Legends or like a cartoony type hand-drawn or hand-painted style to it. I prefer doing hand-painted styles like that as well when it comes to games, rather than doing photorealistic, because it's a bit more fun and it's also timeless. Well, I find it's timeless because you can pick up that game 10 years from now and it will still look beautiful, it will still work, it will still play very nicely, but you won't see the difference that you would if you were just using or just playing a game that was created in photorealistic. You know, that's the difference, I think. So yeah, that's the game I quite liked to work on as well. I got Christian Isabel saying, I see you have VDM and IMM brushes. What are the differences between them? Do you use them in video games? Also, is that pure ref you are using? Yes, so it is pure ref. I do use them in video games, the ones that I created. And VDM and IMM are different because I think IMM is insert multi-mesh brush, and that is inserting a mesh on top of your mesh, which is separate. You can separate it. And a VDM brush is a brush that places it's kind of like placing the geometry on top of your existing geometry. Good example, if we go here, they're not called VDM, they're just called chisel inside of ZBrush here. So you can grab this VDM or chisel brush, and you can see on the ears here, if we grab an ear and we pull it out, make sure that you have a mesh that's got appropriate amount of subdivision levels for this to work nicely. You can see, oh, let's try from the other side. we can get ears on. That's pretty cool, actually. Ha! Yeah, but the geometry is actually attached to the existing geometry, whereas an IMM brush, if we go to B and we go to IMM B parts, which is body parts, and we grab the ear, again, it's not going to let you do it because we have subdivisions on the character. So we first have to undo until we have no subdivisions, and then pull out the ears. And you can see they are separate meshes rather than connected meshes. That's the difference between VDM and IMM. Celestial says, how did you do hand-painted textures for that game? So it's all done through Substance Painter. Is a kind of using techniques from League of Legends. There used to be a document online that you can download, and it will show you how to texture a League of Legends character. Let me just see quick. I'm sure it's still somewhere. League of Legends art style breakdown. I think, yeah, they have a documentation in here. Let me just see if it's fully in here. I think this might be it. I'm just trying to find the character side. Hold on. I don't think that was it. Sorry, I'm just looking it off on the other off the side here. No, it's not that. But LeagueofLegends.com. I mean, they got the visual effects here. They used to have a character section where they'd be where you could actually see how they created things using, I think it was 3D Paint. That's TikTok. Okay, yeah, I can't find it, but basically, it used to be a documentation. They gave the documentation for free, and it was something you could download online, and it would just show you how to texture using 3D Paint, 3D Coat Paint. That's the program, 3D Coat Paint, and how they use lightings to bake textures so that it's kind of like a quick way of doing it. I would love to show you guys how to do that if I could maybe get a hold of a cartoon style sword or something from online, one of those free ones. I'll show you how to do that at some point. It's quite an interesting way of working, using Substance instead of using it for photorealistic stuff, actually using it for hand painted stuff. But yeah, it took a while to do. It took a while to get it looking right as well. But you know, I think it worked pretty well. Yes, that's the one. Yes, X the fun. It wasn't League of Legends. Sorry, it was Dota. But they're very similar, aren't they? League of Legends and Dota, I believe. I don't know. I don't play it. But yes, it was Dota. Yeah. Let me see if I can find it. Dota art style document. Yeah, this is it. All right, I'll put this in the chat. Chris, Celestial, if you want to check this link out, if you just copy that link, or if anyone wants to copy that link, they can go and they can see how they got the full breakdown on how they create characters using color systems and color wheels and breakdowns. I'll just bring over to the side here. I don't know why it's on the side. So you can see here, this is the documentation. They go through the whole idea of what color schemes are, what color theory is, and how they use it on their characters. And I think it goes further and further down. color schemes, the sculpting of it. I think at the top here they have a application. Yeah, I mean, you can just read through this document here. You get an idea of how they do it, using a lot of it's actually using ambient occlusion ramps and stuff like black and white black and white maps, and then using gradient ramps to put the colors in as a base and then texturing on top of it. But I'll show you how to do that at some point. Once maybe we'll do a version of that for next project on Thursdays. I think that'll be quite interesting. Yeah, maybe we'll do that on after this one. We'll look into it. But let me remind me of that, and I'll show you how to do that, or the processes I go through to do that inside of Substance. Cool. What's the time? 1:49. Right. If you guys have any other questions you want to ask me, then please go ahead and do it sooner rather than later, because I will be ending the stream soon. I think we've gotten the sculpt to a good point. I think this is the blockout really. Normally something like this would take me, I don't know, 30 minutes roughly to get to this stage. Obviously it's taken a little longer because I'm talking to you guys and taking questions, but yeah, something like this would normally take me about 30 minutes to do. And then what I'll do normally is I would stop at this point, the recording, stop it, save it, and then go away from the computer for a break, then load it back up and continue sculpting and recording for another 20 minutes or 30 minutes. I tend to try to sort of record 20-minute sections, so it's not too long. But when it gets to the finer details, I normally go a little longer because they need a little bit more attention to them when I do my artwork. But yeah, that's it. I think I'm going to leave it there actually. So if you guys have anything you want to ask, please go ahead. Also, if you have an opinion or an idea for what we can call these live streams, I don't want to keep calling it a Thursday live stream. I want to give it a title really. So if you guys have anything you want to, any titles you might think would work, if you join the Discord, I know the Discord button doesn't work all the time. It's a pain in the backside. I've tried my hardest to keep that thing going, but I can't figure out how to do it. Hopefully, it'll work at some point, but I want to revamp the Discord channel anyway, because there's a lot of stuff in there that we just don't seem to use, and I want to sort of streamline it a lot more for artwork, chat, and work in progress and portfolios. I don't really want to have too much going on in the Discord. A lot of other people have tons going on inside of Discords, but I just don't have time to sit there and have thousands of chats, chat logs, or chat sort of rooms basically. So I do apologize, by the way, for that. I try to put my 2 cents in on Discord every now and then to keep it going, but it's great that people are showing their work and they're getting feedback, which is always good. That's kind of the reason why we have that Discord. Yeah, so if you join the Discord, if you get to my Discord, it's MLW Creative. If you can't find the link that works, then you just try and find it through Discord itself. So yeah, grab it through there. And if you have an opinion about what we can call these live streams on Monday and Thursday, chuck it in there and I'll have a look at them. But yeah, that's been this live stream. Here we are. I just want to close off by doing a few shout outs and a bit of shilling. You can become a member of my YouTube channel. I'm going to turn this ticker tape off. On my YouTube channel, and you can get all the live streams, the past live streams and archive section just for my YouTube members. You can become a tier 3 Patreon and get the tutorial, the exclusive tutorial on how to sculpt a Velociraptor using ZBrush. It's kind of a weekly video, so every week you'll get a video on how to sculpt it, and also the documents, like a link to the documents as well. Let me hide that. I've also got the 30% off sale on Flip Normals at the moment, so that's from June 1st to 30th on all the products. So if you want to learn a tutorial, or if you want to grab a model or a brush, there's 30% off. Just take it through to the basket, and at checkout it'll just automatically give you 30% off. Right, the hardest part's coming up, and I always mess it up, so I do apologize. I am not very good at names. Here goes. Just want to say thank you to my YouTube members, the new ones, Dylan Dixon, Emberhand Studios, Dev, Talent, MHN Artist, Japanese fellow who I can't read, sorry, Imak 3D, Umut Kan Balukbasi, oh my god, I'm so sorry, Cristiano Ribeiro, Niraj Kumar, sorry. Thank you very much, you guys. You guys are the new ones. 1 monthers, I want to thank RB Gaming, Zine VFX, VSWAT, Shira Phoenix, and Ricardo Lavara. I hope it's that. Let me just turn off the comments so we can see the other ones. The 2 monthers got Joseph Bonkowski, Jace Burgoyne, Dave Newhouse, Matteo Selick, Alpinative 35, Ganesh, Joel Lewis Frateus, Maria Carvalho, Ivan Savoyne, Nicholas Anastasio, Tia Pong, Mudsolas, I hope that's right, another Japanese fellow, Wesley, and Abishk Paswan. Thank you very much, you guys. And for my Patreons, I have got Alan CE in tier 1, tier 2, Alberto R. De La Flower, Best Spin Shot, Captain Puffer, Gradual Boredom, Jason, I'm just going to say the first names, these names are killing me, Jason, Joseph Lankowski, King Amp, Chrono, Lloyd, David, Lost in Limbo, Makai 903, Rafael Diaz, Fabiasio Malepo, Thassa, Tom Uro, Salvado. Thank you very much, tier 2s. And my tier 3s, Aaron Tobman, Anika, Ganesh, Owen Vandermine, Gabrielle, Gies, Hoofy76, Roger, and Tyler Kraus. Thank you very much. Oh, I hate doing. Oh, I don't hate it, but I dread the names. They're so different. Yeah, but thank you very much, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this live stream. I hope you enjoyed the trailers I showed you. Become a member, subscribe to my channel, like and share. This video or this live stream will be up until tomorrow morning, and it'll be taken over to the membership only sale on Flip Normals to the end of the month. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I'll see you all on Monday for the Dragon Sculpt tutorial, where we're going to start to get closer, very close. Like we're 95% there on that one, so we're very close to finishing that sculpt. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you all on Monday. Take care. Let me turn this music off first. See you later, guys. Thanks for watching. If you're interested in more exclusive content and want to support my work further, then please check out my Patreon page at MLW_creative for more. Also, view past live streams you might have missed in Tier 3 tutorial support, where I will be archiving future streams moving forward. If you are interested in other full-length tutorials, brushes, and models, then check out my online stores for more useful content. I would also like to thank all my subscribers and patrons for supporting me for this long. Again, thanks for watching and stay safe.